Hello and welcome to this guidance presentation, which is a visual demonstration of the process set out in the Quick Start Guide, which you can find in the application itself, here in the Help and License area, using this button. The first section of the Quick Start Guide just asks you to make a decision on what delivery methods you want to see demonstrated. For this presentation, we'll do all four of the outcomes listed here in the Quick Start Guide: printing, emailing, faxing and archiving. So once you've made that decision, that's step one of the Quick Start Guide finished. So let's move on to step two. Step two is the installation process. I won't run through this process here because the installation uses a typical wizard and is very straightforward. Also, there is another presentation available on our website specifically covering the installation, so we won't cover it again here. So we can skip a large part of this section and continue from here, which is about restoring a set of pre-configured settings, specifically for use with the Quick Start Guide. Now to do this part, we just go to the Global Setup area of the application, here, and to the Backup and Restore tab. Now if you've used AutoDoc HSE before, and you have some configuration settings that you want to keep, make sure you back these settings up now, because we're going to overwrite the current settings with some pre-configured settings. If you're a new user, you can just click the Restore button straight away. And here's the configuration we've prepared for the Quick Start Guide, so we'll just load this up and overwrite the current configuration. Okay, the next part of this section of the guide is about the Run as Another User service, which is found here in the Global Setup area. Back here in the General tab, down here we have the Run as Another User service. Again, I won't go into this in depth, as I've covered this in detail in the presentation on post-installation tasks, and its purpose is also explained in both the Quick Start Guide itself and the reference manual. Basically, if you want AutoDoc HSE to be able to access remote printers and network drives, you need to enter the login details of a user who has access to all those remote drives and printers down here. So we'll do that now. Make sure we can log in with those and then install the service. Okay, the rest of the step 2 section in the Quick Start Guide is about what to do if you don't want to print hard copies, but we do want to print hard copies in our example, so we'll go straight on to step 3. And this is about setting up the Fax tab, which is here. Okay, we're going to use Microsoft Fax for our demonstration, so all we need to do is ensure that Microsoft Fax is selected here, and then test the fax service here. And that's working. Now if this test fails, chances are you don't have Microsoft Fax enabled. You can check Microsoft's online knowledge base articles for the process of enabling the fax service. We've also covered this area in more detail in the post-installation task presentation as well. Okay, that's step 3 of the Quick Start Guide completed. So let's move on to step 4. And step 4 is about configuring AutoDoc HSE's default user. So for this, we move back to the application and go to the Users tab up here. And we complete the full name, the email address, the office phone number, and the user printer number 1 field. The user printer fields here just allow you to choose preferred printers on a per user basis, so just choose a printer here and then apply your changes. Okay, that's the step 4 section complete of the Quick Start Guide, so now we'll move on to step 5, which is setting up email. Now in this example we'll use SMTP email. So going back to the application, under the Email tab, we'll ensure the SMTP button is selected and then enter the host details there. And an email address to test it out. This is just to confirm that AutoDoc HSE can communicate with the email server and successfully send emails. And it's been successfully sent. Okay, that's all good. Now, if you want to use Mappy email, check out the presentation on post-installation tasks for details on that setup. Okay, moving on to step 6 of the Quick Start Guide, which is setting up archiving. Now the PDF archive function of AutoDoc HSE is located in the Form Template Setup area within the PDF Archive tab here. Okay, what we're doing here is telling AutoDoc HSE where to create some extra PDF copies of the document. And the Quick Start Guide is telling us to create 2 copies, this one and this one. And the first can be in any location, provided it has a PDF file extension. So for ease, I'll create the first one in the root of my D drive and just call it test.pdf. And the second file path can also be anywhere, but we want to use this specific file name here. So again, for ease, I'll just push this across so that we can see. I'll put this in the root of my D drive again, but I'll use that exact file name there. Okay. Now the Quick Start Guide also asks us to check these checkboxes here like this on the 2 file paths. So the second one is checked and both are checked. So the second one's checked and both of those are checked. And I'll apply those changes now. Okay, moving on to step 7.